Hi, it's a bonny day here in Shetland. I'm at the beach in Nibbin and you can see the cliffs of Hillswick ahint me. I've got my hat on because it's a pretty bit chilly, but it's a beautiful sunny day. And today we're going to be making this bonny shell. It's a scallop shell and we're going to be covering it with decoupage pepper. It's really easy to do and it's a lovely activity because it's kind of relaxing. You can really get into it and then you get a lovely result like this that you could stick on your wall or have on your dressing table. So I had this bony shell and you can see the ribs in it. It's an awful fine feeling if you run your fingers down the bits of the shell. And then the other side is lovely and smooth. You could choose to decoupage on this side, but I like doing it on this side. I think it's such a bony shape. So the first thing we had to do is use pepper, is tear up with pepper. Now this is special decoupage pepper. It's slightly thicker than tissue pepper and it's shiny on one side. You could do old Shetland Times even, or you could use napkins. If you're using napkins then you have to take all the layers apart and just use the fine top layer that's usually the patent layer. But really the easiest thing is to use decoupage pepper if you can get some. So with that pepper, this is a bonny map design. You get all different kinds of designs, flowers and even pretty dugs, all kinds of things, all kinds of colours and shapes, patterns. Right, so for this you had to tear it in strips first of all. Tear it lengthwise. Oh, I'm just got a pretty bit there. I meant to tear it down. But ultimately you're wanting to tear it into pretty bits like about this size. It's about the size of a 50p piece. Or kind of pretty bit bigger, pretty as an old penny. So tear it down. It makes a beautiful sound when you tear it too. And you really are better to do this because we're going to be working with glue and your fingers can get kind of clutched. So it is better to tear up all the pepper before you start, because otherwise you can just come out covered in pepper. And because it's such a windy day, I have a deep tub, so I'm hoping I can keep had of army bits of pepper in here, in this tub. Whoa, I'm lost a bit. But yeah, I'm going to put my hand over it because they're flying away. Right, I'm going to put this shell over the top to hinder them blowing away until I get up there. If you had old maps or charts then you could use that too. It's pretty bit thicker pepper than what this is. But any bits of pepper like that would be fine. Even some wrapping pepper might be really bony. Oh, look at this, put the nidder, put this shell on the top this time. Like a lid look in. It really is maybe better to do this on a day that there's no wind or do it inside. But I just thought with a bony day it would be fine to do it outside. Sorry, I'm lost my shawl. Lost me hat. This really, when you work with decoupage, this is the most boring bit. So if you can persevere and get through this bit, then the next bit is far more enjoyable. It's this bit. Especially because I'm losing some of mine to the wind. I think if you listen closely, you can hear the sea. If I keep this pepper still, you'll maybe hear the sound of the sea hint me. It's an awful fine, relaxing sound. Right, I'm going to do one more strip and then I think we'll start with the gluing. Now you hear that shelder, I think it is, that's plooping away in the background. Right, I'm going to put this, whoa, I'm going to put this in my pocket so it doesn't blow away. Right. And this is decoupage glue. It's really good glue because it dries clear, and that's what you want. You want this is bony, it's matte, this stuff is matte. You can also get it in gloss, but the main thing is you can clutch on as much out as you want and it dries clear. And you really had to put a bra lot on to make sure it bites on. I'll put a blob in yonder. I hear stone in here too, just to stop this from blowing away. And you can use any brush, any pretty brush. I like this kind of flat-edged brush. I think it's fine for doing this shape. So this is going to be fun, trying to keep all this from blowing away. So you put your glue in your brush and a pretty bit of glue on here. And then you use your brush, so you don't get your hands too clutched. You use your brush to pick up a piece of pepper and put it onto your shell. And then clutch more glue on the top of it to stop it, to fix it in. And there's no way you can make this faster because you don't want any air in it. If you try and do too big bits of pepper, or you get a bit impatient, then it doesn't work. So the whole way of doing this is you have to take your time and make sure you put on plenty of glue on the top and that all the pretty bits is covered. And it doesn't matter if it takes you a long time, but it's just a relaxing way of doing it. Get another piece of pepper out of here. So mind to put your glue on first and then put on your piece of pepper. And then clutch glue at the top. Don't worry about going out the edge because we'll trim that up when we're finished. We'll make a bony neat edge. So you're not to try and fold it in or then you'll get a funny line on the other side. So just tuck it out the edge just now. And then we'll sort it out at the end. Oh, I'm feeling the sun on my face now. That's a fine. I had a cold wind on my back and the warm sun on my face. It's a typical Shetland day. Or a typical Shetland summer's day, maybe. try and get the pepper with your brush the right side up, because that makes it easier just to pick it up and then put it straight on. You're not having to turn it the other way around. And it's fine, you can feel the brush going and add as pretty denkies in the scallop shell. I'm just going to put my hand over it to hinder it blowing away. So that's nearly halfway. But I am doing it kind of fast, so you don't know how to do it this fast. You can take your time. And you can do this, you can use this to decorate all kinds of things. You can even do furniture with it. You can decoupage chairs, that would be bonny. Or tables, maybe this alt table I'm sitting at, it'd be bonny even if you just did the middle of it. Or you can do period things like frames is a good thing to do. Just makes it kind of bonny. There's 2 bits I'm going. So mind you put your glue on first and then your piece of paper and then more glue on the top. And don't worry about using too much glue because the glue will just disappear when it dries. It's magic stuff. You can as well if you want to. You can. I'm just using 1 piece of decoupage paper, but you can mix up your pepper as well. You can make kind of a patchwork effect with different designs of pepper. You can see how I'm just leaving the edges rough. It's just over the edge, and we'll sort that out at the end. Try and get that in around the edge of this side bit. Oh! If you're finning scallops, you can get some because there's places in Shetland that process scallops. I think there's maybe a factory in Yale still, and you can sometimes get old shells. And you might be lucky to find in on the beach, but if you can't find in on the beach, you might get in for somewhere like that, or maybe a fish shop. And you have to scrub them really well. A good way of getting them clean is putting them in the dishwasher, but you still have to scrub them because still sometimes it just cooks. Whatever was on the shell just kind of cooks onto it, so that's not so good. Oh, it's flying around like confetti now. But it's fine if you can get a fine shell for somewhere like that. I'm going to have to set this down a pretty minute. I'm not sure if this would work maybe with other shells, like mussel shells might be bonny. They're so bonny on the inside, it might be bonny to put a fine pattern on the outside and then have the bonny pearly inside would be lovely. think this is maybe a map of New Zealand that's on this chart. I'm seeing some place names that might be for New Zealand. See how it's coming on now? Just 3/4 the way finished. You had to try as well and no touch this bit because it's awful easy to come off on your finger. So try and hide it with these edge bits and your hand underneath. Oops, a daisy. Going all over the place. You need kind of pretty bits to go when you're coming near to this edge, because you want to keep this piece clear. Kind of line it up along the edge as near as you can get. Oh, dear me. Right, I think I'm going to mark it with me torn up bits. Nearly there now. Oh dear me, I'm losing it. Ah no. Getting excited because I'm nearly finished. That's what happens at the end, isn't it? Sometimes you forget to concentrate. Right, and before you decide that you're fairly finished, you need to go around and check for any pretty white bits that's sticking out. Because it's awful annoying if you think you're finished it and you go back and there's a great bit you're missed. So I'm going to put this piece on. And there's a bit in there at the side. Put a bit of that on. No, Dan, I think that's pretty good. We'll leave it to dry now. Wait till I put this to hinder any more blowing away. Put this on for a lid. Leave the glue to dry, and while that's drying we can paint this pretty... I wish I can't know what the right name for this is. It's like pretty lips. I'm not sure what the right name is. And what I have is I have some gold powder, and I'm going to put some of that in with me glue, and then that'll give me gold paint to paint in pretty lips. Oh, see, there's a gap there. There's bits that you're missed and not realised. Let me just cover that bit up. When you're putting the pepper on, the right side of the pepper is darker than the wrong side. So you can notice that when you're adding it to your thing, because you can still see the pattern through because it's that thin. But if you notice that the right side is darker, then you'll get the right side the right way up. So I'm just going to stir up this gold powder with a pretty scar of glue. And paint it on. You might just have some gold paint or some any colour paint really that you can add to your one. You could put your favourite colour and use that for highlighting this pretty edge. Okay, now we turn this over. And we can trim this edges. Ideally I would leave this to dry, leave it for a couple of hours till it's fairly dry, and then take your shears and just cut along the edge like this. This is going to get my shears scratched, but I'll get them cleaned. Just to neaten that edge. It's kind of crunching along the side of the shell when I'm hitting the shell instead of the pepper. Right, and when you're done that, you can turn it over the right way round and just put a pretty bit of glue along the edge just to make sure that that edge is glued down. And that's you. Then when it's dry, it should look like this. I hope you enjoyed that pretty film, and I hope you can find some shells or something else that you can decorate. Okay? Cheerio.